Hey guys, how are ya? I hope you're doing well. Okay, so I had planned to start out with this case. The trial is in November, so we have to keep an eye on it. Um, this guy sues an entire city because of weed. Yes, he does. I don't know why I keep getting these cases where they're suing the state and they're suing the city. But today, his lawyer, who has been with him for 6 years, litigating against different cities and townships and everything, put in a request to withdraw. So we got him and his lawyer bickering today, and that's what I was gonna start on. And nope, nope, we're not gonna see that. I'm gonna put it out as a video. It's so good. I'm gonna put it out as a video. But when I was watching Judge Fleischer stream today, I caught this case on my phone. So if anybody's ever tried to record a long video on your phone, that it doesn't work like that. You could only record up to so big of a file at a time. And it doesn't tell you when it's about to end. So, like, it'll just stop recording. So, I didn't get the very first part. And then I had to keep restarting the stream, restarting the recording as I was in Judge Fleischer's stream. So, I don't have the whole custody case from beginning to end. But I have plenty. I have him on the stand. I have her on the stand. And then I have the judge, and the judge is the star of this show. We have to get through their craziness first. We have to get through the he said, she said craziness first before the judge finally loses it. Loses it, tells the lawyer to sit down, and then it's his time to shine. So that's all we're gonna do. Well, no, we're gonna do Fleischer, obviously. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do Fleischer. And then I'm gonna put that guy as a video for later today. Like noon? Noon sounds good, right? Yes. It'll come out at noon. Okay. I think I got these in order, time-wise, because he's the plaintiff in this case. He wants custody, or he wants partial custody, or anything of his one daughter who mom has right now, and mom took and mom moved, I think, from Georgia to California. Mom took the daughter and moved to California with the daughter without permission or anything, but they weren't married, and he didn't legitimize the child, so he had no claim. And then it just goes downhill. I should have added some dumpsters to this. Oh, see, that was that was a perfect opportunity lost. Me too, Kay, Pennsylvania. Hi. Oh, thank you, Fozzie. Okay. Thank you, Tammy. We were missing another Tammy today, and then you came. You're new Tammy. And then we have another Tammy, and then we have another Tammy. You're like the Sarahs now. The Tammys are the new Sarahs. Charles, thank you. I mean, Chris, I told you I keep thinking of Charles Schultz every time I see your name. It's automatic. Charlie Brown. Chris, thank you. I liked your pictures in Discord. And Fozzie, thank you. Whew, whew. We got a lot of gifted memberships, guys. That's all I can say. Okay, let's get started. Shall we get started? I think I got them in order. Here we go. I think this is first.
She was. I drove her to checkups and shots, and on a regular schedule. I even have conversation with her mother on making sure that stuff is getting done prior to her moving to Georgia.
Did Willow have any type of healthcare issues that were unusual or needed special attention?
I don't believe so. I don't recall the conversation with Wick about malnourishment or feeding. I know that there was a concern about Tony's weight not being where it needed to be because she allowed Tony to live off Cheerios only. Tony would not eat food unless it was Cheerios or it looked like a chicken nugget. So we had to like sneak in vegetarian chicken nuggets for her to get any type of source of nourishment from vegetables. So I don't know Willow's eating issues or conditions of her health at all right now. But when she was with us, we made sure she was healthy.
Do you have concerns regarding Willow's physical well-being?
I do. I have nightmares that I'm going to find out that she's been malnourished or she has a scar or an injury from neglect or abuse. That she's going to see me again and she's going to act a certain way because her mother brainwashed her or conditioned her to act a certain way towards me or her sisters.
And how old is Willow currently?
She's 3 and 6 months.
And you understand she hasn't seen you for how long?
She hasn't seen me since a month before I filed this motion to return.
Do you think that her being returned to your custody would be in her best interest and her emotional well-being?
I absolutely think so.
How so?
Because I'm her father, and I know that the time frame that I spent with her and
I liked it, James.
here today,
I liked it.
she will absolutely remember me, and she will feel joy and happiness and run to me and her sisters, and we'll be able to start rebuilding our lives together and making up for lost time that's well deserved due to the circumstances.
She was about 1 year old when she left your care. Is that
She
correct?
was.
And I'm assuming she wasn't speaking or anything at that age.
She was. She called me daddy, just like Tony called me daddy. I taught her how to walk. I mean, she was very attentive.
I don't know his name.
Her favorite thing to do was drive around this remote control tractor in our yard here. And she has not forgotten us.
Do you think if she were to see photographs of you or a video of you, she would recognize who you are?
I would hope so.
Do you think she would understand who you are?
It all depends on how she's been mentally treated by her biological mother. Honestly.
Why do you think custody with you at this time is preferable to custody with Miss Josie?
Just as it was back in February of 2022, a month and a half after she had gone with her to California. I think that if the court had intervened and ordered it then, that to this day that my daughter would be safe and sound. There'd be no legal issues. There'd be no police activity. There'd be no involvement with somebody accused of rape. There would be no worry. We wouldn't have any type of worry. We probably would have been able to co-parent at that point. And now it's just so much has occurred and false allegations made that there's no way that that I could ever trust this individual to co-parent correctly.
And when you were here with her, police were called and responded to your residence on occasion,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Did they ever come inside your residence?
They did. 3 o'clock in the morning, she had called the police after breaking into a bedroom and shoving her cell phone in my face because I had spent 12 hours in the RV prior to avoid conflict. I was unaware of the circumstances until I read the messages after, but what she was trying to do is cause a domestic incident and record it to have it used against me for custody of Willow because she was planning on leaving. When the officers came in, 2 officers came in and questioned her for over an hour and a half in our living room alone. And she wanted to leave with the children, but it was raining and dark out 3 o'clock in the morning. And they asked her repeatedly, do you feel unsafe? Has there been any physical abuse? Is any kind of issues? She said no to everything for an hour and a half. And originally she had been upstairs in the baby's room and I had been in the room at 3 o'clock going to sleep. She broke into the room with a metal spoon. She cut my wrist open with the door, shoving it in because she said she needed to get something out of the closet. And the conclusion of that incident was the officers forcing her to give me the documentation, my mail,
Hi guys, my first day. Listen, this is his lawyer. This is her lawyer. She's on the TV because she's scared of him apparently and is hiding. So she says she's in California. So and he's in Georgia. So I can guarantee you she's not in California. She's not in California because they are both liars and none of them can say a word that's true. They just can't. It's impossible for them. So I hope she's not in Pennsylvania. I hope she's in Texas fixing fixing the internet.
For Willow's birth certificate in California that needed to be signed and sent back that she secretly took. And then also the police made me stay upstairs in the baby's room after waking up my three daughters and asking them the same questions, which they confirmed that I've never been abusive towards Kaya Josie. And then I woke up, I think 8 o'clock in the morning with 5 officers knocking on my door, taking her to a shelter, which at the time was really confusing because I didn't know this was happening. She had used the shelter system to abscond my daughter. And during the time she was there, she communicated me with email saying that she was maintaining visual knowledge of our whereabouts and our ongoings at our home with our surveillance system. She was logged in from the Wi-Fi at the shelter, which showed up on our system the entire week that she was there before flying out to California.
So from what I gather, the word that he's trying to say is abscond, but he said abscond over and over again. And it was pronounced so badly that my brain could not make the bridge. I couldn't, that word was, the real word was just erased completely from my head the whole time.
And you said the police came, so did they make a report of that incident?
They did.
Can you identify that for me?
Yes, sir. This is the report.
The incident you just described?
Yes, sir. And it states everything that she had said. The only issue with the report was that it was a metal spoon, not a wood spoon, to break into the bedroom.
Your Honor, attended this.
No objection.
Admitted. Did you mark it?
I did P1, Your Honor.
Oh, I see it now. Thank
For the record, the exhibit was tendered marked P1. The police, when they entered your house, did they call Department of Family Children Services, have any kind of issues with the living arrangements or conditions that were in the house at the time?
No, they actually made very positive comments because our home is all about my kids, all about Tony, all about Willow. There's 2 framed pictures right there that sit on our mantle in our dining room where we eat with my other children's pictures of the first year of their life, every month of their life, and their first birthday. And they made comments about how wonderful it was, all the school pictures of every year, all the awards and the high GPA on the fridge. I mean, my house is immaculate. I'm a Marine sergeant. My house is field date every Saturday. And
Immaculate.
they did their job. They overdid their job. They stayed there twice as long as they needed to be under my understanding, was because she didn't inform them of her intentions to leave with the children. She manipulated the people at the shelter to send 5 other officers 4 hours later to our residence to assist her in absconding with my daughter. I hugged my daughter right before they left, and I allowed my children a moment to hug their sister before she took them. And in retaliation for that show of act of kindness and love, she gave back a laptop that I had bought her for school.
Did the police remove Willow from the home at that time?
No. They allowed, well, they made me give up Willow that was in my arms. I literally tried to identify to them that I have my daughter in my arms. I don't want her to leave. I have rights. You know, I'm on the birth certificate. She lives here. She has a driver's license here. This is her home. And I don't want to give up my daughter. I made it very clear on recording that it was my intention to not let my daughter leave the residence. And they forced me to hand my daughter to her mother and then left with them.
And did she want to leave at like 2 o'clock in the morning and with rain while walking down the muddy dirt road?
Yeah, our driveway is like impassable unless you have a four-wheel vehicle, and she wanted to leave with my children at 4 o'clock in the morning while it was raining and on the road in the dark. She wanted to put them out into that condition.
And I believe the report states that law enforcement advised her against that.
They didn't just advise her, they like demanded it because she was not cooperative with them at all. She kept on telling them this is what she's going to do, this is what she wants to do, and it was very uncooperative.
How do your children interact with other people? Has there been any problems or fights or
Oh, never,
issues with Department of Family Children Services, reports from school, anything like that?
never. I mean, not since our case in Florida in 2015 to 2018.
What type of activities do your children participate in?
Currently or when she was there?
Both.
Okay, so the pictures that you saw, the collage, was us going skydiving together. Kaya went skydiving for her 23rd birthday as a birthday present. While in the background, all this other stuff was going on with communication and leaving. She celebrated my daughter's 16th birthday at Dave & Buster's. She celebrated Lily's birthday. She celebrated Layla's birthday. She celebrated Halloween, my birthday, at the pumpkin patch farm here. We did every activity together you could possibly do. She celebrated Willow's first birthday. She celebrated Tony's birthday on November 23rd. We did everything that a family would do and more. And we did everything together as we did for 2.5 years driving an RV from San Diego to New York.
Has there been any changes that you've noticed with your children since Miss Josie left?
Oh, absolutely. I know that my daughters were really sad and depressed for a long time because of this case. And then also the knowledge.
I was
that we
thinking
were
about the
given last year
beer,
in
but
March
okay.
that she,
Soup too.
no longer had the baby, because she had told me and my children while we were here and taken her to her appointments for prenatal and WIC that this baby was mine and that we were going to have another member of our family.
Did you file a motion with this court requesting return of your minor child to this jurisdiction?
I did that, and I also filed a restraining order to keep her from fleeing the state with my daughter due to the circumstances surrounding how she left and what she was doing. I felt that she was in extreme danger because of the mental state that her mother presented in this communication, and the communication that she gave to the officers, the communication that she gave to the shelter. She fled the shelter to avoid service. They told me that directly.
Who is they?
The supervisor at the shelter, I forget her name, but I spoke to her over the phone a few times, trying to inform her that the reason why Kaya Josie is using the shelter is to abscond with my daughter. And I tried to provide the text communications of proof, but they didn't care because it was a women's shelter to provide assistance for women who claimed domestic violence. But the communication that I have between that person and Kaya Josie was 3 months old. She identified to this person who kept in touch with her for 3 months that she couldn't get away, that she couldn't do this, she couldn't do that. But at the same time, like she had done during our whole relationship with her mother and her sister, she talked bad about us, gaslighting, and she treat us like we're family. And we do all those things that are in those pictures. I mean, what else can I think other than there's mental health issues that she's able to maintain a loving relationship where she's telling me 3 days before she left that she wants to finish intimacy because she's upstairs with the baby, putting her back to sleep. And she's texting me from the bedroom that she wants to do this, this, and this. And keep.
What? She's texting him from the bedroom saying she wants to finish intimacy. Is she telling him to stay out for a bit?
Record of it. So, I mean, it's just astonishing that she could do that and then claim during the entire time that she needs to flee with the help of this shelter, which she didn't mention to police that were in her home that could have removed her right then and there. Or she could have called the police at any time. Instead, she used us for 5 months trying to get evidence of a forced DV incident to use so I could not get custody of Willow. And I know that because I have 6 videos from her recording conversations with me in a garage 10 minutes before she made physical contact with me, trying to start an incident while I'm wrapping Christmas presents for my daughters that she knows won't be there for Christmas.
Have you obtained incident reports from California in reference to any domestic violence situations involving Miss Josie or your daughter?
I retained every domestic violence situation or phone call by the police to that address, public records of San Diego County's Sheriff's Department. I got copies of them, which the names are redacted, but I'm assuming it's her because she's identified on there as pregnant woman with 2 minor children. On several occasions, the one I mentioned about the suicide, the one I mentioned about the domestic violence with her stepfather, the one with the assault with her sister that happened days after she left California, and then also the one
He's lying.
where I did a welfare check and they made contact with her boyfriend at the time's phone that she answered. So that's all that I could find to that date.
Yeah, I would never text while being intimate. I might scroll through some TikToks if I'm bored, but I won't text. That's rude.
Because I have no idea where she lives now after the police did the last welfare check at his mother's home in Santee, California.
Okay. Do you know how many incidents you received reports on?
I think there were 6 total, sir.
And do you,
Actually, I apologize. There's 8. There are 8 police reports with Kaya Josie in Ohio of 2021. The police were called because of her mother on Valentine's Day.
He called the
where
police.
She
He called them.
accused me. Her mother accused me. Later on, it was corrected by Kaya Josie, and she returned of throwing a firearm at her. And in fact, I gave her firearm on the floor of our RV.
Guys, you don't throw firearms. That's not how they work. That's not how you do it.
And also, there was an insurance claim filed for damages and stolen property to our RV by Kaya Josie at an RV park that my children were present for, that she pulled the safety pin out of the bike rack, trying to hope to cause an accident. She allowed my daughter's pets to be released and lost. And she stole my watch collection and hid it. And then later on admitted and returned it and apologized for the incident. And last but not least, she threw a fit in a vehicle going 65 on a highway with Tony present. And I pulled over to a Walmart parking lot, removed her from my vehicle verbally, and Tony, and I was transporting my firearms to my father's home at the time. And the police were called, made contact with me. I explained to them everything, and I allowed them to listen to the recording. I recorded. When I feel uncomfortable, I start audio recording on my phone. So I told them that she was acting erratic. She wanted to go. I released her from the vehicle. She stayed at a hotel for a day, and then we reconciled and she came back. So it's been a history of that for a year and a half while RVing.
identify what I'm handing you now?
Yes, sir. These are the calls for service for the police contact with I can only assume Kaya Josie at the residence of her mother's home. The welfare check of my daughter that I had mentioned with the officer who contacted her. The battery situation on the 31st of December, which was 2 weeks after she left Georgia at her home with her sister. The next one Sorry, there's double here. I didn't know if you needed a copy, but preserving the peace. This one right here was when I was in San Diego for a week to be there for my daughter's birth. And when she notified me that I wasn't going to be allowed to be there for my daughter's birth, I asked for my engagement ring back so I can return to Ohio for my children. And she refused to do it. She first said I could, and then she said I couldn't. So when I went there, I did what's called protect the peace call to have officers present so nothing would escalate, and I protect myself because I was on probation. And then there's another one for disturbing the peace here, which is mother was attacked by the husband while Kyle Josie lived there with Tony. So those are the calls that I was able to get at that time, just because that's where I knew she was staying. I don't know if there are any other calls at the location in Santee or where she's currently at with my daughter.
How did you obtain those?
I contacted Sheriff's Department Records Division, and I did a formal request with them, and then they emailed me copies, just like I did the formal request with the Ohio Sheriff's Department, the officer that assisted Kaya and Tony to go to a hotel with their belongings.
Were you able to get those online, or how did you receive those?
They emailed them all to me, sir. I have them with me.
Your Honor, I would ask the tender use of Exhibit 2.
This doesn't have the Ohio records, though. It's just San Diego.
I do object to those. They're redacted. They don't say her name. I mean, there's no evidence they are actually about her. They're not certified. They're from a whole other states. I mean, I do object to the admission of those.
After you're married, it's yours. Before you're married, it's his.
Your Honor, I've done the best I can do from getting it from California. I believe that the court could take judicial notice of these because they are public record in California. But we can do our best on the next hearing to try. I mean, getting them unredacted and things like that is probably going to be under court order.
Well, this is not a final hearing today. You'll apparently going to have plenty of time to try it another way. So I'm going to sustain the objection for today, at least. I'm sure I'll see him again. All right, you can proceed, Mr. Green.
All right, and I believe there is a copy of the birth certificate already in the record, isn't there?
I'm not sure.
My bad, Richard. You're right. That's true. Guys, real quick, I have to show you something. Really quick, really quick. So I need my glasses. So someone Melinda sent me this, okay? It's a card. Shh. Oy vey. A little cat on there. Oy vey. Dear Cats of Court Vibes, we hear there is mayhem being conducted. We have included some dynamite to be used as required. More is available if needed. Share with Kathy if she can be trusted. Best of luck with your ongoing rampage. Fiona, Savannah, Dolores, and Melinda. So she knows me really well because this is what she sent. But she sent 2 of them too. They're filled with catnip. I know they're filled with catnip because I'm not the type of person that can wait until 4:30 a.m. to open something like this. Maybe that's why she sent me 2. I already cracked one open and the cats freaking love it. Love it. Love it. Now I can open this one and give it give it to them. That was the hardest thing, waiting and waiting. It's they crackle too. It's like a bag, like it's full of beans and catnip. It's great. My cats love it. All of them, every single one of them. And there's a lot. Okay. All right. So we heard the father. I don't know if Legal Fiction is here yet or if he's going to watch this later, but I need to apologize to Legal Fiction because she lifts at the end of her sentence. A lot of them. She just lifts it up there. We know how he feels about that. I feel the same way. But we will suffer through it. Okay. All right. Hold on. I got to make sure I get the right one. Oh, I numbered them. Man, I'm good sometimes, guys. Here we go.
I actually never received any prenatal care while in Georgia because of the healthcare insurance issues. If anything, if I ever did go to the hospital, it was always ER visits because ER visits are covered if you have insurance outside of that state. But when I made it When I made it out to California, I went to my doctor for an emergency appointment. I scheduled it before I got there, and the baby wasn't growing at the rate that it was supposed to, so they told me we were going to wait a little while. Got there, I was supposed to be a certain amount far along, but the baby wasn't reflecting that. I later had to go in
Another
and get
Tammy.
a medical abortion in order to get the last remains of the baby out of my body. I did never go and tell Mr. Pepke about this until we did the restraining order hearing. And I think that was the first time I informed him what had happened.
You did not choose to terminate the pregnancy.
No, I just never received any type of prenatal care. And I did tell Mr. Pepke that I had a history of miscarriages. That was one of the reasons why I hadn't want him to tell his daughters that I was pregnant until I was at least until the second trimester. And that's why it was an argument on him telling his daughters that I was pregnant or telling anyone at all.
Did you ever conspire with his mother, with your mother, or anyone else for that matter, to have him arrested or to violate probation?
No, I've definitely made I've made dark humor jokes. So I used to joke that maybe Mr. Pepke's abuse of me would come in handy and he would get arrested and I wouldn't have to deal with him anymore, unfortunately.
Okay. Did you ever take any steps to make that happen?
I don't think any steps can be taken to make someone physically assault someone else unless it's in self-defense. All of our arguments were usual arguments that we always had, and the issues that came up and that are shown on video are issues that were always there. They weren't pushed or prodded by me in order to sit away. They weren't abnormal. They were very much our day-to-day arguments.
During the 4 months that y'all resided in Georgia, did Mr. Pepke ever ask you to leave his home?
Yes, that's actually usually his MO. Whenever we have arguments, he'll tell me to leave, that it's not my home or anything like that. The big argument we had is that I wanted something in writing that would give me protection, or like a renter's agreement to the home in Georgia, so that if he did try to kick me out, I legally wouldn't be able to. But
I'm really good at that.
To do anything like that.
And during the 4 months that you were in Georgia, was he with you the entire time that you were here from August until December?
No, actually, during September, because I remember my birthday, September 6th, he was not there. He had to leave because there was an issue or some type of mix-up going on with his probation where he wasn't supposed to be in Georgia.
Okay.
And they didn't know if he was supposed to be in California or Georgia. So I was the only one in California with his 3 daughters and my children for a period of time.
And he had no concern, to your knowledge, about leaving his children with you?
He's never raised up any concerns about me being around his kids, other than the fact of sometimes just a distaste, because he inappropriately involves his children into our romantic affairs, and it just makes communication impossible.
Have you ever been abusive towards his children?
Nope, absolutely not by any standard.
Have you ever been abusive towards Mr. Pepke?
Nope.
Okay. You was testified earlier that you filed this restraining order in California. Why did you file that?
I filed it in California because I had received another police call about him harassing to do a quote-unquote welfare check, stating that he had a right to know where I lived and that I was denying him access to see Willow. And so I went out to file a restraining order. The restraining order was denied, though, because the videos of abuse were taking place in Georgia, as well as the text messages he had that were, in my opinion, blackmailing me over some sexual pictures I had and videos I have. But it said it was left up into interpretation, and then the videos, they were taken in Georgia, so they couldn't be used in a California court. I was advised to go to Georgia and do a restraining order, but it's just too much going on. I can't take the time to do that. It's a lot.
So it wasn't that no evidence existed. It was the fact that the evidence was from Georgia, that the acts had happened in Georgia, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental illness?
Oh, hell yes.
No. In fact, my mom being a clinical social worker is actually legally able to clinically diagnose people, and no diagnosis over here.
So as that being part of her job, you feel that she would be able to recognize any concerning signs if you display these symptoms?
Yes, 100%. It's 100% of her day. It's what she has to do all the time. So if we raise any notes, because we're all pro mental, mental illnesses and medicating yourself if you need so be, she would have definitely told me.
And you did live with your mother for quite some
Let's all be pro mental illnesses, guys. Let's jump on that bandwagon.
time when you moved back to California, correct?
Yes, my mom's always been a safe spot for me. So if ever I'm between apartments or anything like that, I do stay with my mom in her room, not in her room, but in the other room adjacent, because my brother's only there 50% of the time. So.
And is your mother someone that you still frequently see?
Yes.
Do you have any physical health problems?
No.
Are your children, all three of them, are they currently up to date on all their shots, their medical needs?
Someone was calling me and texting me. I cut the other ones out, but this one I left in so you could hear what's going on. But I got this on my phone while I was doing Fleischer. People kept calling me.
Up to date on everything.
Okay. Any health concerns about any of your children?
My oldest daughter, Tony, is in occupational therapy because she's a very picky eater. She's not underweight by any sort of means. No supplements or vitamins or any medication has been given to her. It's just more helping her cope with how many changes have gone on in her life. And she's reflecting that by how she eats.
Okay. And she is being treated for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you ever threatened to kill yourself?
I made a joke, a very poor joke on my end, that I would kill myself because that's what Mr. Pepke seems like he wants me to do. He actually on many occasions would tell me to just go kill myself and end it all. And so I just got into the habit of making a joke out of every insult Mr. Pepke called me.
Do you, in fact, have any suicidal
Oh, I just missed the dress. Y'all need to just make sure you look at that dress, though.
ideations?
No, I definitely do make sure after every time I have a child to be under close watch through therapy for fear postpartum depression. I've suffered from it on 2 occasions, each for about 3 to 4 months each time. But I've never had to be medicated in any sort of sense. And just having a therapist to talk to has always worked.
Are your children currently covered by insurance?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do they have insurance?
Well, before my husband joined the military, they just had Medi-Cal, and now they're covered under the military's insurance.
Okay. And are you and your husband financially capable of caring for Willow and as well as the other 2 children?
Yes, ma'am. As of currently right now, we have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, and we're keeping it just 1 bedroom because the girls don't like to sleep by themselves yet. So I feel like a room for each of them would be too much for them to handle.
Okay. But there is sufficient room for all 3 children in your home?
Yes.
Okay. And do the children, are they in school or daycare at this time?
Tony is still being evaluated if she's ready to go to preschool next year, but right now Willow is on the wait list to go to preschool.
Do you currently work outside the home?
No, I'm currently a stay-at-home mom and I'm going back to school.
Okay. Are you aware of any time since we record back in March of last year that Mr. Pepke has attempted to FaceTime Willow?
I'm not aware of any such attempts. I don't have Mr. Pepke blocked on anything. Me and my husband have changed our phone numbers multiple times because Mr. Pepke used to message my husband very disturbing text messages about how Tony is his daughter now and she calls him daddy now. It's just very inappropriate. But he did message my oldest daughter, Tony, on her birthday, saying how they all miss Tony so much and things like that. That message came through just fine. And when Willow's birthday came around, her birthday's only a couple weeks afterwards, we got no message from Mr. Pepke trying to attempt to reach out to Willow at all.
So he does know how to contact you or the.
Oh, he's fully able to contact me. My email hasn't changed. My phone numbers have changed, but I mean, the Google chat, which is where he sent the birthday wish through, hasn't changed at all. If he wished to contact me, he very well could, but he prefers to do welfare checks instead.
Speaking of the welfare checks, how many has he done?
Oh, like 3 or 4. At some point I have lost track because we've moved, he doesn't know where we live.
It's 6,
so
guys.
I know the last one he did went to my husband's mother's house, which is very peculiar because we've never lived there. So she was very confused what was going on, and it caused a bunch of issues. But I did get a call from the police officers that day, and I guess Mr. Pepke told the police officers that I was evading the law because I hadn't given him my address yet, and that he had a legal right to know exactly where I lived, and that he had hired a private investigator to find out where I lived. I kind of ignored it because the police officer kind of laughed and was like, well, you know, he obviously doesn't need to know where you live or else he would know. So.
Okay. And how long have you lived in your current residence?
I've been in this current residence since the beginning of this year, since before my youngest daughter was born. She's actually born at home here. So.
Okay. And how long have you been married to your husband?
We've been married since August 8th last year.
Do you feel that the life that you are providing for Willow in California, is it stable?
It's very stable and it's very traditional, you know. We can offer complete family support from grandparents, aunts, uncles. My husband has always been in my daughter's life since before we went to Georgia to see Mr. Pepke, due to us doing visitations for my oldest daughter, even afterwards. They're very close. And at this point, I would someday hope that my husband would be able to adopt my daughter.
Do you have
Welfare
concerns about
checks.
Mr. Pepke having contact with your daughter?
Absolutely.
And could you elaborate at those concerns?
Yeah. Well, I think it would be very negligent for anyone to assume that the verbal abuse towards a romantic partner just stops at a romantic partner. I've seen him bring his own mother to tears by how they talk about her consistently. And that's me not being the biggest fan of her. He treats customer service workers terribly. He talks terribly to his daughters. So the verbal abuse does not just stop at me. I also like to make note that his father was not the only suspect male he allowed to be around his daughters. I consistently had to stop a male friend of his when we were in California who was accused by his own daughter of sexually assaulting her. I constantly had to stop this said man from going upstairs to Mr. Pepke's daughter's room. And after I consistently told Mr. Pepke that it was happening, he then decided to have this man as a roommate. And I know he's still close friends with him because when I was served for court, this man showed up to my door, which was very disturbing. I do not want an individual like that around, considering this also apparently was the individual who helped Mr. Pepke get a hold of his illegal substances, which is more than just alcohol. He's only ever addressed the alcohol, but that DUI was more than just that. He was an avid cocaine user consistently. Every poker game he had, every Friday night, every week, he was an avid cocaine user.
Bitches get stitches.
And the drugs they said they had on him during his DUI had names I had never even heard of before, such as like berry something, things along those lines. I don't think he's ever stopped using prescription drugs to help deal with his pain because he is in consistent back pain, he says. He has a bag of prescription drugs, all for him. I would say it's like a small, medium-sized tote bag, just completely filled to the brim with prescription drugs that he just takes, just for whatever And I don't know under what circumstances a person would be prescribed that many drugs, but that is what he has. It's just how he treats people, how he thinks it's okay to treat women. It's very scary. I remember after the first time he assaulted me, which there was more than one instance, the video I have in question is not the same instance where I called the police. I asked him, would you be okay with someone assaulting your daughters in the same fashion? He said, well, sometimes that's what's needed to put people in their place. And so I feel Mr. Petke thought that physically assaulting me was putting me in my place. And I'm terrified for him to do that to my daughter. There's also, if we even just take away the abuse aspects, it's the fact of how isolated he has his children. His daughters are completely homeschooled. They have 0 friends of their own age. They do 0 outside activities with children their own age. No one leaves the house unless it's for some type of errand that he's doing, or maybe a fun day that he's planned. The only friends those girls have are their cousins or that's around their age. I don't want my young 2-year-old daughter to be isolated with a man she doesn't know and 3 girls who hopefully will be going off to college soon.
Okay.
So that would just leave my daughter in a home alone with just him. And he's going to be wheelchair bound one day. Is she then expected to take care of him when he's in a wheelchair?
And do you feel that some of the discussions he has with his other children, that those are inappropriate?
Most definitely. The way he told his children about our relationship was just at a level that you don't discuss romantic relationships with your children in that sense. You know, you don't come out, Kai's pregnant, she's been lying to you this whole time. You know, I don't wish to disclose my miscarriages with his children, and that reserves my right. You know, I discussed it with my romantic partner, and that's the only person I should have to disclose it with. I shouldn't have to come back and hear from his daughters, all his other romantic partners outside of me. You know, it was too much how a relationship with Mr. Petke turned into getting certain information through his daughters, and it made me heavily uncomfortable.
Okay. I'm almost done. Did CPS did an investigation into your home? Correct.
Yes.
Say it verbally because she's writing it down. And are you aware of whether that was Mr. Petke that called them on you?
Yes, she told me it was Mr. Petke. She told me about some of the allegations were against my husband, my now husband, my sister, and then my mother's husband, he married my mom when I was an adult, so I'm not really familiar with him in too much of a context.
Custody.
And I don't know why he inclines to such a history between him and I didn't really know the guy, unfortunately. So yes, I'm aware that it was Mr. Petke, and we went through the whole process with her. We tried to be as calm as one can be in that situation, and we're just glad they were all cleared as soon as possible.
And the case was in fact closed?
Yes, ma'am.
And there were no actions taken? You are not required to complete any classes?
Yeah, no actions taken.
Okay. And you just stated that you don't really know your mother's husband that well. Have there ever been any incidents of where the police had to be called because of him and you?
Not that I was there for. They've been divorced for a couple years now, so I'm not really aware.
Oh, so they are no longer together.
Yeah, they haven't been together for a couple years. He's not the father I grew up with, so I'm not familiar with him in any context.
Okay. And that's all the questions I have for you right now. I'm sure Mr. Green will have a few.
Mr. Green, cross-examination.
Thank you.
Here we go. Everything's about to get good, guys.
Good afternoon, Miss Josie.
Good afternoon.
You did in fact have a Ohio driver's license, correct?
No, I had an Ohio driving permit, but my license was revoked because
What's that noise I hear?
I think it's the baby.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I do have a baby. I have a few babies.
I'm fussing. I didn't know where that was coming from. All right.
Yeah, it's scary. Sorry.
We'll push through. You're doing just fine. Go ahead, Mr. Green.
Oh, I did have an Ohio driving permit, but I never got my license because the address listed on there was Mr. Pupke's father's address. And me and Mr. Pupke's father do not get along in any sort of context, and we never have. So he put it as fraud that I don't live there, and then they denied my driver's license.
Okay. And then you applied for a Georgia driver's license, correct?
Yes,
And you got one of those.
yes, I have that and my California driver's license.
And you left your address in Georgia?
That was my address in Georgia.
Okay. And in California, when you did these complaints, you've continued to list 285 Limestone Road as your address, correct?
What complaints?
Well, there's several things here. We're getting communications for Willow Drew Josie at 285 Limestone Road. We're getting requests for voluntary declaration of parentage.
So the voluntary declaration of parentage is a program that Mr. Putke did through email to get his name on her birth certificate. I sent messages to them saying that my consent was not given for any of that, but at this point, test has been done. He is her biological father. So if that has my name on it, I actually never received.
So my phone stopped there. Don't worry, there's more with him and her. Him and her do not get along. This attorney and her do not get along. So we have him asking her a few more questions, and then the judge speaks. And the judge is, every second of it is pure amazing.
Willow has never been injured in my care. Willow fell at the park while at a play date and had to get one staple on her head. We went to the ER immediately, and that was it.
How about Tony?
Tony had to go. Tony had a really bad fever when she was younger, but the girls have never been injured in my care aside from that instance.
Has there been an allegation of malnutrition?
No, Tony is seen as a picky eater, but she's not given any type of medication or vitamins for it. She's simply seen an occupational therapist for it because it's seen as kind of just emotional response to all the changes having to go on in her life.
Have you ever reported any domestic violence against the Mr. Gonzalez who you're currently married to?
No.
Does he have any reports of domestic violence or any other type of violence or criminal history?
No.
What about his history of drug use?
Mr. Gonzalez used to have an issue with alcohol, much like Mr. Pupke, and he went to AA, and now he's been sober for years.
Does Tony have behavioral issues?
No.
Is she currently in school?
They're on summer break right now.
Is she enrolled in school?
She will be this year, but they had to get the okay from an occupational therapist first.
How long has she not been in school?
Since she's been alive, she's only 4.
Yeah, she's 4 years old, dude.
Do you have any information or knowledge about a diagnosis of PTSD and what that entails?
From what Mr. Pepke told me about his PTSD diagnosis, it was from his kids being taken away by the CPS. It wasn't military related. He wasn't on any type of field or anything like that. So that's from what he told me. I can't speak on whatever it actually says on any of his medical paperwork.
And you're not familiar with how much medication a person with PTSD is normally prescribed?
I actually am familiar. Like I said before, my mom's a clinical social worker, and I showed her the video of all the medication Mr. Pepke has, and it's way beyond the scopes of anything any doctor would prescribe someone for taking anything. It's 20 plus prescription bottles.
In fact, people on PTSD can often have a whole Ziploc bag full of medications that they carry with them. If you're familiar with that, you know that, correct?
Multiple Ziploc bags?
Well, I mean, maybe, but I know I've seen them with big, huge Ziploc bags full of medication.
Oh, I didn't know you're also familiar with, people on PTSD. As I said, I'm really as familiar as my mother would allow me to.
Officer, so yes, I am. I've had considerable contact with them since you're asking. Um, How do you know Mr. Pepke's going to be in a wheelchair?
That's what he told me.
In what context?
He has his spinal something is
Just
deteriorating, and he's gonna leave
I'm
him
not
first in a
muted.
cane and then a wheelchair.
Thanks, Rebecca.
I remember
Thank
because
you.
he talked about what type of care he would need, as well as when we go shopping, sometimes we'll look at canes and see what types he'd like to buy.
And so, Mr. Gonzalez, you said he threw you up against the wall one time?
No, I have no idea what you're referring to.
You didn't tell my client he had abused you and thrown you up against the wall, so that's why you were moving in with him?
No, I never lived with my husband.
He has PTSD. He suffers from PTSD medically now because his children were taken, well, his one child was taken out of his arms by Child Protective Services when she left. Or was it the shelter? Or was it the police? She called so many people. I can't remember which one it actually was that came. It had to be the police. The police ripped his child out of his arms. He has PTSD for that.
Until we got married, so.
Okay. And you have a child with him. You had one with him, right?
Yes.
And it's your statement today that my client should have no evidence that you suggested that you had an abusive relationship with Mr. Gonzalez.
No, there's no abusive relationship with Mr. Gonzalez.
This is
We
the
don't
mother.
always get along, but
The
it's
mother.
by no means abusive.
This
You
is his
didn't
lawyer.
Show him text messages of allegations of rape and abuse.
There are no text messages or allegations or anything like that. No such things exist.
Okay, so you
They
didn't
won't
sit
in a
down with
minute.
him and give him a bunch of text messages to view to suggest that this man was dangerous and a rapist.
Mr. Pepke actually has a history of stealing my phone and going through it. So have I ever sat down and gone through my phone with anything with him? No.
If that's the case, would those type of messages have been on your phone?
No, because those messages don't exist.
Is Willow with you today?
Yes.
Is that who I hear in the
I don't know,
background?
but I bet it was very loud.
It's hard to tell. I have multiple little kids running around right now.
Did you in fact tell my client you have no intention to co-parent with him?
No, I initially told him that I did want to co-parent. And when I first told him I didn't want him at the birth of Willow, that we should just work on switching from being in a romantic relationship to co-parenting. I've always tried to establish that if his daughters wanted to reach out to see Willow, they could contact me outside of him.
That's Dad.
If
He's
that was
looking at
something
you
I
right
didn't
now.
feel comfortable
That's
with.
Dad.
When I did reach out to one of Mr. Pepke's daughter, he messaged me and said not to do anything, no such thing like that, which I respect it because those are his kids and that's his boundary. Other than that,
Sarah.
What does co-parenting mean to you?
co-parenting means having a good cohesive agreement, communicating with each other on everyday decisions that you would usually decide if you guys live together, like medical decisions, where the child goes to school, parenting techniques. You want to do gentle parenting or things of that nature.
And which kind of decisions have you conferred with my client on, or which decisions has he made?
Me and Mr. Pepke aren't co-parenting.
And it's because you have no intention to co-parent with him, and that's what you stated, correct?
No, I stated Mr. Pepke only reaches out to me to harass me. And then if he does to reach out to talk to me in any sort of non-violent way, it's to talk to my daughter who isn't biologically his.
And you're aware we have a DNA test, correct?
I'm aware because I also had to take the DNA test.
And you dispute the results of that DNA test?
I never disputed the results of the DNA test.
So why do you think it's not biologically his child?
I never said I never thought it was biologically his child after the DNA test results were given.
I thought you just said it's not biologically his child.
No, that's not what I said. You must have misheard me. Oh, when I said not biologically his child, I was referring to Tony. Tony is not biologically Mr. Pepke's child.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
I do love the judge, though. It's coming real soon.
Yeah. I can prove everything she just said wasn't true.
I can prove everything she just said wasn't true. He wants to get back on the stand.
She claimed that all this stuff happened in Ohio, but she still traveled with us to New York. She still moved to Georgia. Feels like he murdered my daughter. Responded to she wants to find that. Mental health issues. She admitted on the stand. So, she admitted on the stand. She videoed my medical stuff and showed it to her mom. I never knew about that either. So, and my kids have been sitting here shaking their heads in tears because everything she just said was wrong.
My kids have been sitting here shaking their heads in tears because everything she said was bullshit.
All right, just a couple more questions. Did you receive a cease and desist letter in reference to defamatory statements from my client?
I believe I received something like that at the beginning of all this hearing stuff through email.
And do you have, how would you characterize today your relationship with my client?
Well, at this point, it's been a long time, so I feel like I view him as someone would view a dangerous criminal. He hasn't ever addressed
Yes.
the drugs that were found
Rebecca
in
will
his
take
system
them.
from his DUI. He only ever addresses the alcohol.
Rebecca got them.
He never will admit or get help to deal with his anger issues or how abusive he is. I view him as a danger to my daughter's life.
And do you have an understanding that my client disputes almost everything you say? You kind of understand that, correct?
Yeah.
I think that goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
And do you feel like there's any way to work forward based on your definition of co-parenting to have any
Sugar,
type
that's
of
not a good idea. Damn.
healthy, beneficial relationship for Willow?
I don't think someone could be a positive influence on my daughter's life if they, A1, have not gone to any type of rehab for their drug addiction. Him going to rehab for alcohol was not enough. He has to address his drug addiction. He also physically abused me. I don't understand how someone can go and just not put any work in to deal with themselves and be a positive influence on a child's life, a young child who would be so confused seeing him. He could say that she knew him, but she was not talking when we left. If she did say words that sounded similar to Dada, it was baby babble. She had just turned 1, and he wasn't there the whole duration of our stay in Georgia.
And you, knowing this, chose to take the child and move to California, correct?
I went back to California.
Okay, and since that time, you have not made any attempt to foster any type of relationship with Willow and her father, correct?
Mr. Prepke has made it very clear that he wants to approach any type of co-parenting relationship with me with hostility. If he wished to foster a healthy co-parenting relationship with me, calling CPS, constantly making false police reports, it's not the way to go about it. The way he messaged to talk to my oldest daughter, who's not biologically related to him, that's the way he should have gone about it, but he didn't.
So you understand he's trying to reach out and communicate, but you don't like the way he's going about it. So you're just going to decide that he just can't have any contact or communication with his child.
Police and CPS are not means of communication. That's actually the complete improper way to use them. That is a waste of their time. That's not how you communicate with someone. So
What's
I would take to say that no, that is not him communicating.
Okay, what's the proper way to communicate?
The way he communicated to say happy birthday to my daughter, Tony.
You want him to text message his child?
Oh, is it crazier to text message rather than him calling a false CPS report?
Can he not?
Can he not falsify a police report? Can he not falsify CPS reports? Yeah.
No, as we just established, at least he's got documentation of what he's suggesting.
What documentation?
He's got tons of documentation of all these reports, everything he said here today, he said he's got documentation of, and he does. You're saying.
I mean, if everything's redacted, you just have a bunch of papers with words and black lines on it.
Right now.
Yeah, right now.
That'll
And then when it's
change.
unredacted, it won't have me
But
doing
where's
something.
your report of abuse? Where's your report of this, suicidal threats on his behalf? Where's your report of all?
I never said he made suicidal threats. They were shown to the police officer.
Where are the
They're
reports?
all on video.
All right, stop. I've had enough. You're talking over each other. You're wasting my time. I don't know what you're saying. I can't understand what you're saying. So just sit down, Mr. Green. I've heard enough. Do you have anything else this night?
No. No,
All right. My time to talk. Do the parties stipulate, specifically Ms. Knight, do you and Ms. Josie stipulate legitimation and paternity?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well, so ordered. Now, I have left this case alone and haven't bothered you all in quite a while until Mr. Green started contacting the court, my office, about getting this matter scheduled for today. And I left you both alone with the hope that this case would resolve on its own. I clearly see now that's not going to happen. And the court is now compelled to essentially take over your lives and micromanage this case and force it along. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I can't help the fact that the two of you have found yourselves in this mess and chose to have this child under the circumstances that you did. And to be blunt about it, this is Georgia, not California, and the laws are different. And Mr. Prepke, I'm sure Mr. Green has explained all that to you. Now, both of you
Georgia.
appear to the court to be very intelligent, but also extremely litigious and totally chaotic in regards to each other. And more specifically, Willow, I don't really give a rip how the two of you treat each other. But when it affects Willow, the court will step in. You both seem to think that the other one is Satan incarnate. Both of you have had litigation and domestic and defects, family issues in California, Ohio, Georgia, Florida. So this is not new to either one of you. You know how this works. Further, I can't help the fact the two of you live on opposite coasts And Miss Josie, you had and have every legal right to live under Georgia law, to live in California and to take Willow with you because you were not married. And Mr. Pepke, at that time at least, did not have a court order, as has been discussed ad nauseum here today. So I'm not faulting you for that. And Mr. Pepke, you have every legal right to pursue this action just exactly as you're doing with the assistance, fine assistance, I might add, of your attorney, Mr. Green. This action for legitimation and custody, and Ms. Josie, as you have been so ably and capably defended by Ms. Knight. But here, it appears to me that the two of you are so obsessed with destroying the other that you're both blinded by what you're doing. You two have dumped a big stinking pile of allegations on my desk here today. And at least as of today, there's very little, if any, proof of it all. Now, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Green. You intend to get it. I understand, but I can't reconcile all of this that's going on here today, Miss Josie and Mr. Pepke. This is just a big old mess. Now, I didn't really intend to get into all this today, but I've sat here patiently. I've let you two go on and on and on, and I've said very little up to this point. But buckle up, folks. Here we go. Several issues that have to be decided immediately, and they will be. You know, in the 11 years I've been sitting in this chair, I can't think of maybe one or two times I have just shot from the hip and issued a ruling from the bench. But here it comes. I've got to decide what to do about Willow, to order Willow back to Georgia, to her father, or leave her with you, Miss Josie, in California. Either way, whichever way the court decides, does the court order visitation? Where it's going to take place? Who's got custody? Who travels? Child support? Who pays it? How's it going to get paid? And how does this case proceed to a conclusion? Now, both of you have made numerous ad nauseum allegations about each other's mental fitness, mental health, physical abuse, criminal charges, dangerous, unsafe living conditions. I mean, it's been slinging fast and furious since we sat down in here. And like I stated earlier, you may have the proof later, but you don't have it today. It's all just assumptions and impressions. Now, I don't expect, as I get into the guts of this right now, I don't expect either one of you, Mr. Pepke or Ms. Josie, to like my ruling. Frankly, I don't care. I've heard enough for today. You don't like my ruling, then you let your attorneys do their job and you come up with something different. The bottom line for today, Mr. Pepke, there's not enough proof for this court to transfer custody or order Willow back to the state of Georgia into your custody. Legitimation.
Hold on, my phone stopped recording there and hit the end. I got more, don't worry. I just gotta hit play. We only missed a few seconds. I went as fast as I could.
Until there is a final hearing. Now, I am going to authorize Mr. Pepke to be made aware of decisions that Ms. Josie makes. But the mother is to have primary physical custody, and Mr. Pepke, you'll have secondary physical custody as defined by Georgia law. Ms. Josie, I hear what you say about wanting your address to remain confidential. And I'm just going to sidestep that issue for today. I don't see any reason to broadcast it here in open court. However, Ms. Josie, that sounds all fine and good, but there's a catch. And I'm going to come to that in just a minute. I've also decided I'm going to deal with all these other issues. Child support and visitation. Child support is going to start today. The parties and the attorneys are ordered to immediately file the income affidavits and the worksheets to provide all required financial information to their attorney and to reciprocate also. I don't know the exact names, but I believe there are several family apps out there for dealing with parents who are in litigation. I don't know the names of them.
My
off the top of
Family
head. I
Wizard.
know there's several. You two may have more experience with them than I do, but the attorneys at least are ordered to at least confer and decide or try to agree on a family app for litigating parents. And that will include, one of these apps I know has it, I just can't remember the name, that include a method for the parties to communicate only about Willow. I don't want to have one single thing if it doesn't have something to do with Willow. And in case the two of you, the parties, aren't familiar with these apps, they will be available for the court to read at any time. So you might as well get your mind around the fact that I'm going to be watching. All right? And I believe some of these apps also include methods for child support payments.
Thanks, Mark.
I think, and also visitation. Visitation is also going to be included in my order. And Mr. Pepke, we're going to find out. I don't see any reason not to award you some sort of temporary visitation. And I know it's going to be difficult, but I'm awarding Mr. Pepke reasonable visitation as the parties may agree, which I'm sure will be 0. So the court is prepared to commence some supervised visitation on a graduated scale to start out with day visits with progress to be determined by the court. Also to include some sort of FaceTime or other such similar app to be used on a regular basis. And the attorneys and the parties are directed to attempt an effort to resolve this visitation as to time and place, etc. Failing that, which I'm sure it will, I'll do it for you. And I don't want to hear any complaints about how much it costs. Not my problem, so don't even bother. So the attorneys, I'm just going to tell you how I'm thinking. What I'm thinking in my mind is some sort of neutral site. If you can't agree, I'll pick it. Some sort of CASA type supervision. I'm sure California has a similar type method. And at least for the beginning, both parties will be ordered and subject to random drug and urine screens upon request of the court or CASA or regarding the item, which I'm about to deal with that next. The parties and the attorneys will confer and attempt to find a guardian ad litem or some similar official, because I have no way to know whether anything that either of you has said is even remotely true. Ms. Josie, I'm not picking on you. I don't know where you live. I don't have a clue. All I see is a face on a screen. And Mr. Pepke, I don't know anything about your house.
I bet you she lives in Georgia, guys.
I don't know a thing about it. So if the parties, if the attorneys can't agree on guardian ad litem counterparts in both states, I'll pick them. And the guardian ad litem will have the full authority of the court to investigate, request hair samples, hair follicle tests, random drug and alcohol screens upon request. And all these costs will be split equally between the parties, including all hair follicle tests, which both parties shall arrange to have done within 30 days. I'm tired of all these allegations. I want to get to the bottom of it. Ms. Josie, you've accused Mr. Pepke of all kinds of pill popping. Well, we're going to find out. And anybody in your residence will be subject to all of these requirements, Ms. Josie. and as you as well, Mr. Pepke. I'm not going to do it today, but the court will consider some sort of family counseling or even some sort of mediation, but at least for the time being, you're looking at your mediator. I swing a lot bigger stick than a mediator. This case is going to start moving, and it's going to move towards a conclusion. The two of you may not know it, but my only function here today is to protect everybody's rights, but to make sure that Willow is also protected. Because she's got rights too. All right, and the attorneys will confer on an order. Again, if you can't work one out, I'll do it. But this case is going to start moving, and it's going to start moving today. You got any questions, Mr. Green?
I do, Your Honor. Two, one, my client wants me to make a request to have visitation for the remainder of the summer.
No, denied. Have a seat. You two work it out. I want to hear some discussions about how to get it started. I'm not going to do overnight extended visitation. Not at first. We're going to ease into it. She hadn't seen you and you hadn't seen her. It's going to start slow, and we're going to go from there. Anything else?
Can we see Willow?
What?
Can we see Willow today? Can she just?
Is Willow there with you, Miss Josie? I'd like to see her myself. Pull her up.
She's there, but I don't think I should play her. I didn't cut her out. I forgot about that. I'm just going to pop it forward a little bit. Hopefully she's not right here. I'm going to press it right here. I mean, nothing happens. She just is a little girl. Up. Yeah. That's it.
Tell
That
Judge
means say
Adams I
goodbye.
said hello.
Certainly will, thank you.
I just talked to him last week. Okay. Is that it?
Jenny. There's the
What?
dress
You
in
mean
all
you're
its
not here just
glory.
for free? Here, take these with you. Yes, sir. Mr. Green, take care, everybody.
Yes, sir.
March. This is not March.
I can redo it.
Nah, that's right.
I just pulled up the old one. Copy and paste.
Whew. I like that judge. I'll figure out his name at some point. Don't worry. I don't even remember. I don't even remember what district he's in. I think he might be in Telfair, Georgia. I'm looking to see if it's on here anywhere. Maybe.
Until there is a final hearing.
No, it's just not. They don't have it on their screen. So I'll figure it out. Now it's time to go back to normal, guys. It's time to go to Judge Fleischer. And we have a question in this one. Is this guy completely baked, half baked, or triple baked? That's what I want to know. We'll see him soon. If I press play. If I press play, we'll see him soon. I'll let you know when he comes up. Nah, no, I won't. You guys can just figure it out and tell me. Triple baked, half baked, or just completely baked. Those are your three options.
You said she did have slurred speech and odor of alcohol, right?
Just strong odor of alcohol and glossy eyes.
Okay. Ms. Nguyen, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license, ma'am? Do you have valid liability insurance? You may continue to drive. Just be careful. I am ordering you no more alcohol, no more dope. We're going to randomly test you. As long as you don't consume alcohol, any kind of illegal drugs, you will be fine with this. You have a lawyer. He will take care of you. I will waive your appearance. You don't have to come back to court, but listen to counsel and he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. Okay. For now, I'll have you go to Victoria, sign and reset. After that, you'll get the trace for your bond conditions and everything. You guys are free to go.
Just one minor issue or question. She's finishing up a doctorate program next week, and she's going to be in classes from 8 to 5. If for some reason she calls in and has to go test on it,
Just give me a heads up if there's an issue with some kind of conflict and let me know.
Okay, and then I guess the other issue, which we can tackle when it gets closer to that time, upon graduation, she's going to Vietnam for a couple, like 2 or 3 weeks in the end of August through the beginning of September.
It shouldn't be a problem. Just remember, I don't care where you go. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you're celebrating. No alcohol means no alcohol from any source. If I find that you do, if I learn about it, I'm not going to be happy. And if I'm not happy, you think you're going to be happy? All I'm asking is just don't drink. That's it. At some point, this case will be over, and then you can do whatever you want. The only thing that we want you to do is remember this. I don't care if you're 30, 50, 72, remember this. Every day, someone dies from a DWI here in Harris County. All we want to do is prevent it. That's it. Okay? All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Break this break. Page 6, Bookman, come on up.
Judge,
Hi.
before we get started on Mr. Bookman, just let the court know, we're in agreement with the state. This new charge. Let's get over a little bit.
Well, I get it. But, you know, Mr. Bookman, we have certain standards here. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. We have certain standards, right? And we will hold you to it. I don't care what kind of agreement you have. I expect you to live a certain way when you have an open criminal case. And if you refuse to do that, we have places for you. All I know is that now, from what I understand, he has an open DWI. He's now picked up a new case.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to do probable cause. You're now stand charged with a theft. Right? Yep. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay, look.
Thank you, Your Honor. On July 3rd, 2024, officers were dispatched to Neiman Marcus for a theft shoplifting call for service. Officers met the defendant, who is the lead loss prevention team. When it stated that the team reviewed the CCTV footage and observed the defendant select 2 pairs of Marc Jacobs sunglasses and hold them in his hand. The defendant then walked around with the sunglasses in his hand.
Yes,
And then he
Lucifer.
concealed the sunglasses inside his right pocket and started walking away from the area. The defendant made his way towards the cosmetic department and walked through all points of sales without paying for the concealed merchandise. The total value of the sunglasses was $390. The complainant advised that they would like to press charges on the defendant.
Okay. Mr. Bookman, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Hey, Stephen, can you help me out, please? Something that's completely preventable. You, some reason, have to come up and pick up a theft case now. Guess what's happening to your first case? Guess. What's happening to your DWI now? I'm taking you in. You've picked up a new case. What do you want me to do? There has to be consequence to behavior, Mr. Bookman. And the consequence is that your bond gets yanked. And that's it. He goes with you. I mean, you know, at some point, sympathy has to go throughout the window. It's something that's completely preventable, and there's just no excuse. I mean, really. If I allow him to just come out, what happens? I'm enabling him. I'm not going to do that. We have enough drama. I don't even know.
So the court's aware. The agreement we have with the state is for 30 days on the DWI and dismiss the new theft case.
Did they get the property back?
Hi, American courts.
You can do
Hello.
whichever you want to do. If you want to do it today, you want to do it tomorrow, but I'm not letting him go. So I'm going to set the bond at 5,002 on the DWI. I will not touch the theft. I'll leave it as
Sarah, it's about to poke me in the eye, and I don't think anybody sees.
is. And you tell me what you want to do.
Okay. The only caveat to all this is that he's got kids and he wanted to arrange for transportation for them before he was to go in on the plea agreement. So he asked if he could report and turn himself in next week, which is now, I understand. I told him, I said, I got to run that by the judge. I'm not sure it's going to work.
It's cute.
Because then you'd have to, let him out and then.
That's something, and when you go back there, talk to him, that's something that you have to think about before you start looking at Mark Jacob sunglasses. And Neiman Marcus, right? Go to Sunglasses Hut, go somewhere else, man. It's a lot cheaper there.
There's a lot of cameras, or gas station, or don't do it at all.
There
Okay,
you go, that's the best.
right, okay, thank you, Judge. Thank you all.
All right, Judge, page 1. Alcantar, Juan. Come on up.
Hey, Vic, what,
Page 1, bottom of page 1.
Mr. Alcantara?
Sir.
Sir, you're charged with assault bodily injury. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
On July 4th, 2024, officers were dispatched to an assault call at a business. The officer observed there to be a physical fight between several people inside the store. The complaining witness was visibly in pain and had a large laceration to the bridge of his nose and a large bump on his forehead, and claimed to be assaulted by the defendant. The defendant admitted to assaulting the complaining witness because he was informed by his girlfriend that she was inappropriately touched by the complaining witness. The defendant was ID'd by his government photograph, and the girlfriend said that the complainant is a healer, and she went to him for a healing, and he got on top of her and laid on her, and she felt
Hi, legal.
against her buttocks over her clothing. The assault occurred 20 to 25
Thank goodness it wasn't that
before
lawyer.
The assault.
Read it again.
Okay, sorry. On July 4th, 2024, officers were dispatched to an assault call at a business. Officers observed
Fozzie, thank you so
there to be
much.
a physical fight between several people inside the store. The complaining witness was visibly in pain and had a large laceration to the bridge of his nose and a large bump on his forehead. The complaining witness claimed to be assaulted by the defendant. The defendant admitted to assaulting the complaining witness because he was informed by his girlfriend that she was inappropriately touched by the complaining witness. The defendant was identified by his government photograph, and when officers spoke to the girlfriend, she said that the complaining witness is a healer, and she went to him for a healing. When the complaining
I get that, but how did he assault the other person? Because I didn't hear that.
the girlfriend told him, the defendant.
Right, but what did he do to the other person? You didn't say he punched him, kicked him, right? Did I miss that you said how?
No, Your Honor, you didn't miss it.
Right, all I have is, we've got A, I've got C, but I don't have B. So I need to know how the actual.
Thank
assault.
you,
Did he
legal.
punch him, kick him, hit him with a tie iron?
It does not say how it occurred, but the defendant did admit to striking the complainant in the face.
I need more than that, you know? I can give you a little bit of time if you can pull the OR somehow. Mr. Alcantara, take a seat for me in the jury box, please. I'm going to revisit you in a bit.
3 foster
So
kittens.
let's wait a bit and then I'll.
Oh,
we can have
that's so
Logan
cute.
check it out. Okay. Hey, Victoria, who's next?
Next up
Hiya,
is
Spud.
page 10. Daniel, come on up.
Jasmine, no. No.
Good morning, Mr. Daniel. Sir, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officers were dispatched to a disturbance, and the complaining witness and the defendant are in a dating relationship and have a child together. The complaining witness stated that the defendant saw her talking to another male and got upset. The defendant then punched the complaining witness several times on the back of her head, causing pain. Witnesses observed the defendant assault the complaining witness.
Okay, Mr. Daniel, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case.
Oh, feel free. Yes, name it. Name it. We all want to know.
I don't
Kittens.
see protective order been issued on Mr. Daniel's case, do you?
Rebecca, thank you. Thank you.
No, right? Okay. Mr. Daniel, I'm now entering what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection. This is a court order that identifies Chelsea Charnel Sloan as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person, commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate or try to
Bryden.
harass you behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. Do you understand?
Is that the name of the
If you violate
channel?
this court order, the state
24/7
channel will file a
online?
violation of a protective order against you. It's one of the worst cases you can pick up. I'm also going to extend this and ordering you not to have any contact with her and not to be in possession of any weapons throughout the entirety of this case. If you violate this, guess what's going to happen? That's correct. I don't know what you have in your life. I don't know who you have in your life, but if your bond is at $10,000, do you have someone that's going to pony up that kind of money for you to get you out? I don't know. If you don't, consider that next time you're out there in the free world. You pick up a new case, you start acting a fool in the free world, I will take it away from you. You will not get another PR bond. You understand? For now, I'm going to have you go to Victoria. We will have you sign a reset. After that, I'm going to have you take you to the jury box while we'll get your bond conditions. Do not leave until you've signed the bond conditions. And then we'll have you head on your way. When you come back, please have a lawyer, sir. That way. Good morning, Mr. Kabir. Sir, I'm up here. I'm not on the floor. Up more. Look at me. You're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during any questions and interviews of the state of Texas. You cannot afford a lawyer. A lawyer be appointed to represent you, sir.
She doesn't understand that.
Okay.
She's too young.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I can't find the case.
Do you need a cause number? 251-8240.
Krispy Kreme baked.
On
Dude,
July
it's
4th at 3:49 a.m.,
blasted.
officers observed a vehicle in a moving lane of traffic sitting
Nice.
idle with damage to the front
Nice.
passenger tire. The defendant was sitting in the driver's seat, slumped over and asleep.
They are so
Officers
cute.
broke the defendant and he exited the vehicle. He had red bloodshot eyes, slurred speech, and unsteady balance. Standard field sobriety test was conducted and a 6 of 6 on the HGN, 4 of 8 on the walk and turn, and 0 of 4 on the
TJ,
one leg stand.
I know
The
you
defendant
used that correctly,
refused a breath
but I gotta
sample,
get rid
and
of it or
blood
I'm in
warrant
trouble
was
with YouTube.
obtained, and a blood sample was taken.
I know you used it correctly. I'm good with that. YouTube is not.
Are you on something now, Mr. Kabir?
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
Thank you, sir.
I want whatever
Honestly.
he's not on.
Do for a living.
I'm
Please.
the owner of a healthcare consulting firm.
Healthcare.
Are we able to go send someone now, Tracy?
No.
Mr. Kabir, if you have a drug or alcohol problem, you better address it. Because if you don't, and I see it becomes an issue, I'm going to address it for you.
Neo.
I promise you're not going to like.
Maybe
You're not
I-
going to like the way that I do it. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor, may I?
Don't. The only thing I want to impart to you that the drugs and alcohol stop now. I'm making it a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or any illegal drugs. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming, I will revoke your bond and put you in jail. If it becomes a repeated issue, I will put you in a rehab facility. I don't want to have to do that. My only concern is public safety. Do not drive if you don't have a license, and don't consume anything. Do you have a Texas driver license? Do you have valid liability insurance? Okay, we're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. Any,
There is a prior DWI from.
They
June
can't. The
16th.
hurricane has it down.
okay, I'm ordering you now not to drive any vehicle that's not equipped with an ignition interlock. Are you currently on probation or parole or any kind of, for a DWI now?
No.
What's the status of that DWI? Do you have an open DWI right now? Okay, I'm now going to put a condition on your bond that you're not allowed to be out past 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I'm going to put a GPS monitor on you, so I know that you're not out in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, because of the hurricane, we're not allowed to have people tested right now because, and I think that you're on something now, Mr. Kabir.
I have bipolar and schizoaffective disorder. I have bipolar.
Thank you.
And
Thank
alcohol
you.
is not helping the issue, Mr. Kabir.
That's
It's
facts.
only going to exacerbate anything. No more. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, at this
Okay.
time, I'm not on any substances. I take multiple medications for my mental health issues, but I'm not on any unlawful or illegal substances. I'm only on prescribed medications.
Okay, no more alcohol. Do you understand?
Yes,
No smoking marijuana. If I test you for marijuana, are you going to test positive? Okay, don't. So GPS with a 9 p.m. curfew for now, until we know that he's not out and about in the middle of the night. I'm gonna have you now go to the jury. We're gonna be sign a reset. After that, I will have you take your seat in the jury box, and then we'll be back with you shortly, Mr. Kabir.
All right, Judge, page 18, Luke.
First off, don't worry. He's not leaving. He's not getting into a car and driving away. He's not leaving. He has to sign his bond conditions, then he's going to sit in a jury box. And he's there for quite a while. So he's not driving right away. A beautiful mind. Does your medicine make you like that, Hylenus? Is that how like it makes you feel?
Come on up. Judge, say on this one.
Yes. You know what? I don't know yet. I'd like to talk to him a little bit.
Okay, I'll hold on.
Good morning,
Morning, Judge. How are you?
Come on, Judge.
sir. What's the name?
James Luke. James Luke.
James Luke.
Luke.
And Judge, we'll waive PC. It's a traffic stop, and he agreed to a breath test. It's 0.16, 0.15. There's a companion felony. They found some 2 grams of cocaine, I believe, under the car.
See any prior DWIs?
There's no priors.
Okay, so is that all it is a traffic stop? They go, they search, they find cocaine, and then blows a 16 or 15 into 16 or what?
Traffic stop, and then they observe alcohol in the breath and the defendant disoriented, so then standard field sobriety test, and as he was being detained, they found the cocaine.
Say it again?
As he was being detained, he was seen to have thrown a bag, and that's.
Oh, you're
when-
lucky that you're not charged with an obstruction as well, sir. Then you'd be charged with another 3rd degree. Be careful.
I understand he has mental issues and he's taking those medications, but he also could be baked right now.
For what you do. I am ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. And I'm telling you, Mr. Luke, I'm going to test you like crazy. Do you understand? If I find that you have a problem, I'm going to put you in jail and I will put you in a rehab facility. I don't care if you have Jesus representing you next to your side. My only concern is public safety and you not using at all costs. Do you have a valid Texas driver license? Do you have liability insurance in your name? Okay. Stay with counsel. He will help you. If you have a drug and alcohol issue, you better address it. I'm telling you, I'm going to do it for you if it becomes a problem. What felony court's he in?
Hazel Jones, Judge. I know, we've already had that discussion.
Take note. You are in a very, very tough felony court. They don't screw around up there. So one false move, you could be spending a lot of time in jail. So they're very high bond. Do you understand this? Okay. For now, I'm going to have you go to Victoria. We'll have you sign a reset. After that, you'll get retraced for your bond conditions. No alcohol, no dope. I will randomly test you. If I find any kind of issues, I'm going to put a guardian interlock on you. I will not do it at this time. Okay. Now you have a lawyer. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with Mr. Legrand. He will tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You pick up a new case, start acting a fool out there. No more PR bonds for you. You understand? Okay, guys.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Very good. Page 19, Moore.
All right. You are Sheena Moore.
Yes.
Miss Moore, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say
I'm going to
will be
jail.
used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during any questions and interviews. If you cannot afford a lawyer be appointed to represent you.
On July 4th, 2024, officers were dispatched to a crash call on Wheeler Street in Harristown, Texas at 2 a.m. Officers already on the scene observed the defendant inside the driver's seat and an odor of alcohol on the breath. She was transported to a patrol station for standard field sobriety tests, and the HGN was a 4 of 6. Walk and turn was a 3 of 8, and the formless semen was a 2 of 4. DIC was read and breath was taken. It was a 0.145 and a 0.137.
New
The
bond
defendant
condition.
stated that she
No
had drank
acting a fool.
tequila in unknown amounts and that she was on her way home.
Any private with the others?
No, Your Honor.
Congratulations.
Miss Moore, do you have a Texas driver license, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Do you have valid liability insurance in your name?
Yes, sir.
I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of drugs, I will put you in jail and revoke your bond. You will not get any more PR bonds, man. You understand? How old are you, man? What do you do for a living? I'm sorry? Okay, we're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. If you like your license, get on it quick.
Hi,
Don't
Vince.
sit and wait because you will hurt yourself even more and you could lose that license. So get on it quick, finding a lawyer. I'll have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, we'll get you to trace for your bond conditions, and after that, you'll be free to go. Okay? Please.
All right, Judge, page 27, Salazar.
No Fleming, I guess, huh? Are you Luis Salazar?
Yes, sir.
So Salazar, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney. If you can afford one will be appointed to you.
I'm going to try again to get you green too, Jasmine.
2024 at 2:23 a.m., officers observed a vehicle proceed through a red light of an intersection. Officers initiated a traffic stop and caught up to the defendant traveling at a high rate of speed. The vehicle came to a complete stop in the parking lot of a Shake Shack. Upon contact with the defendant, who was a sole occupant, officers observed.
Victoria, I just have one question for you today. Just one. Will we be able to test tomorrow, or do you think it'll still be down? Do people still not have power in Texas? Do we still have 1 million people without power? I know we had 1 million people earlier today without power, but I'm sorry, that was yesterday. I'm still working on yesterday. So Fozzie, you didn't save me that time. Is all of Texas turned on now, or are we still powerless?
Red glossy eyes and a strong odor of alcohol on the breath. Stated he was just trying to find a rescue at a gas station and was a bottle of Modelo at a sports bar. The defendant consented to standard field sobriety test, and HGN was a 6 of 6, walk and turn was a 3 of 8,
Thank you,
and one
legal.
left was a 2 of 4. DIC was read, and the defendant
Thank you,
refused to
Fozzie.
provide an answer, and so officers took his refusal to answer as declining to provide a sample, and blood was drawn pursuant to a warrant.
Okay, what was in his pocket? Don't worry. I already know.
Ready to be honest.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. He run his license, see if he has a license.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Salazar, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. You have a Texas driver license.
Yes, sir.
Do you have liability insurance in your name?
Sir.
You'd have liability insurance.
Oh, no, not in my name. I'm with my parents,
How old are you, sir?
21.
Do you know that
Yep, pausing again because look, guys, look. Look at how nice his hair is. It's not a bowl cut. It looks great. We got someone with great hair. Finally.
you have insurance that has you covered? If you do not, then I'm not allowing you to drive until you figure that out. Okay, you have a lawyer, check with your lawyer. He will help you out with this fact, but until this point, you're not allowed to drive until I know and able to check that you have liability insurance with your name on the policy.
Yes, sir.
Understand?
Yes, sir.
I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or dope, you will go to jail. No more PR bonds. Understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For now, I'm going to have you go to Victoria. We'll have you sign a reset. After that, I'm going to have you take you to the jury box while we wait for your lawyer to get here.
And his license is eligible, Your Honor.
Great. Thanks. That way.
Judge, page 32, Williams, come on up.
Are we talking about Efren Williams?
Page,
There are
32, right?
thousands and thousands without a
You, Mr.
membership.
Efren Williams. Mr. Williams, you're charged with criminal trespass. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during any questions and interviews. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, sir.
On July 3rd, 2024, officers were flagged down at an apartment complex by the managers regarding a man that broke into a vacant apartment unit. One of the employees witnessed him break a window and fall inside. The manager advised that she did not give anyone permission to enter any of the vacant units. Officers found the broken window and saw the defendant exit the unit. They observed the AC electrical wiring to be tampered with, and the defendant was ID'd by a Texas driver's license.
Trying to find a place to sleep, or was he trying to rob the place? What's he trying to do?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, what do you do in life? Where do you live? You have a place to stay? Okay, don't go back to this place. Don't pick up any new cases. Consider that if I revoke your bond and make it $5,000 to $10,000, do you think you have anyone that's going to make that bond for you? What happens then? You'll be stuck like Chuck, right?
Yeah.
Right. Consider that when you're out there in the free world. I gave you a free bond. That's why you're out there now. The only thing I want is public safety. You start messing with my public, guess what's going to happen? You will stay with me. All I'm asking you to do is don't violate the law. Don't put anyone in danger. That's all I'm asking you to do. I'm not asking you to split the atom. Do you understand? I will give you a lawyer today. We will figure out what's going to happen. Don't pick up any new cases and don't go back to this location. You understand? All right. I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. Deputy, do you mind giving him an application for an appointed lawyer, please? I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions, though. And then I'm going to have you talk to a lawyer. You mind filing no going back to the location, please? No contact with the complaining witness. Mr. Clay,
Yes, Judge, may I approach? I'm here on Mr. Mealer, sir.
Mr. Mueller. I wanted to wait for you. I
And I
didn't,
greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I didn't want to do anything without you being here.
I greatly appreciate that very much, Judge. It helped out a lot. Thank you.
It. Oh, are we doing something?
Got a plea. We do.
Okay. If that's, okay. What do you want to do?
This was the new one, but plea, there were 3 days on the first one.
Okay.
Let me know everything.
Okay. Mr. Mueller, you know, you and now the world, look at me. Don't look at the ground. You, me.
Congratulations.
The entire world is now on notice that you have two. One of these is going to be dismissed. However, if you ever get pulled over, the first thing an officer does is they're going to look at your record. They're going to see racing, and you pick up another racing, I can almost guarantee whatever car you're driving is going to be gone because they will seize it. 2, 3 strikes, they're not going to put up with it. You understand? Sure. So if you like whatever kind of car you're driving, go to, there are certain places, if you want to race, there are certain places for you to do that. Not on 610, not on 45, but there are racetracks around Houston that you can go to and spin your wheels until you completely burn them out. As a result of this now, you're going to plead to one, they're going to dismiss the other one, and I'm telling you, you're lucky because otherwise I would have put you in jail right now. You saw what I did earlier. You're lucky that you're not going in now, but I'm going to tell you, you come back here, the next 5 years, I have jurisdiction over you. You come back with another case, I'm going to bring the pain. Do you understand? Now, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement where they're offering you 3 days in jail, credit for the 2 days that you've done. The thing that you must also understand is from now on, what we are doing today will not happen again. They can use this to enhance your punishment to a minimum of 30 days in jail for anything else you pick up. Sure. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, this will go on your record. You can never take it off. Is this what you want to do? Sure. How do you plead to the offense, sir? Guilty. I will find you guilty. Send it to you to the agreement. Good luck, sir. Please see the clerk.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
greatly
Clerk.
appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. All right, Mr. Williams.
I'm approaching on behalf of Tyrell Roberts. He's currently in custody.
With that other individual?
We came to understand.
Sure. If he gives you a hard time, just bring him out. I'll talk to him, you know?
Yes.
So the other one is
Tyrell Roberts.
Hi,
His
Jess.
case has
Hello.
reached the 180-day mark. Now he does have a case upstairs, which came after our case. However, it's my understanding that they are working something out upstairs.
Members.
Where it may get dismissed. He's also was on probation for 5 years. What I'm hoping to try to get done is if we, depending on what he decides.
That's Alan.
Trial here or whether to take something here, where it won't affect him on the probation, maybe try to get him the anti-theft class upstairs. So I was just really hoping for another reset, grant me another reset. He was supposed to have court yesterday on the felony. However, with the hurricane and everything, it got pushed
So
to.
the day after the felony?
Yes, please. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
He's needed.
How you doing, Judge?
He needs a raise. He needs an assistant. He needs his own mental health care provider. Alan needs help. Alan has too much to do, if that's what he has to do. Maybe, oh my gosh, Victoria, I have a great idea for you and Alan. I noticed there was a guy in your court today that we just saw, and we're going to see again later, who owns and operates a mental health care facility. Can you give all of his information to Alan? Now, he's baked, so he might not know his information. Maybe tomorrow, unless he's baked tomorrow.
I'm here with Mr. Aber. He's in jury box. It's a off docket case. Yes. 251-4610.
Say it again.
That's Melissa.
4610.
Melissa's right there.
Okay.
So
You wanna bring him up?
trying to do a walk.
Yeah, for sure. Coming up, Mr. Bear.
Victoria's
I
like
guess all
over
that happened
here
is that
somewhere.
He was arrested that night, but I'm guessing maybe the court or the DA's office. I think that was around maybe one of the rainstorms or something. So then they had to do essentially a 2B1.
Okay, let's figure it out. Is it Abear?
Yes, sir, it is.
Mr. Abear, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
On May 18, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle for running a stop sign. Officers observed a strong odor of alcohol on the truck and a couple hours ago, he also had slurred speech and bloodshot glossy eyes. Standard field sobriety test was conducted, 6 of 6 on the HGN, 5 of 8 on the walk and turn, and 3 of 4 on the one leg stand. Breath was a 0.151 and 0.166.
Where was the last DWI? And how many DWIs does he have, please?
Let me check, Your Honor.
You mean the thievery? Are you talking about the burglary and assault by Miss Victoria?
First DWI was in 2004 in Hallettsville.
So 2004?
Yes, Your Honor. And
Does he have more than that?
I'm just double checking. There's only one listed, but I'm just double checking this history. And that's it, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Abear, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license, sir?
I have a driver's license, yes, sir.
A Texas driver's license. Do you have valid liability insurance in your name?
Sir,
Okay. I'm now placing a restriction on your license. You're not allowed to drive any vehicle that doesn't have an ignition interlock on it. If you're caught driving a vehicle that doesn't have an interlock, I will put you in jail because I will revoke your bond and I'm going to make it high. Do you understand?
yes, sir.
You're also not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you consume alcohol or any kind of dope, likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds.
Sir.
I'm going to give you a PR bond now, but you will not get another one. This is the only one that you will get from me. So take it what you will. Take it and run, or do something and find out what the consequence is.
I'm sorry you got rid of it.
You have a lawyer.
I'm sorry.
He will take care of you. It's your responsibility to stay in touch with him, though. If he comes back and tells me he can't get a hold of you, no more about PR bonds.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. I'm going to have you go to Victoria. We'll have you sign a reset. You will get with Tracy your bond conditions, and then after that, we'll just have you take a seat because we have to work on your bonding paperwork.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thanks, Ruben.
He's going back in the jury box?
Well, for now, we need him signed there. We need him signed with Tracy, and then in the box because we need to do it.
I lost that game, by the way. So I like to play. Are they in handcuffs or do they just have their hands behind their back? And I was sure this guy was in handcuffs that whole time. I lost that game.
Please.
It's required for you to.
You need, oh, it's not on docket. I have to give you. the-
It's up to you.
Okay.
I'm not in a rush. Okay.
Bookman, step up.
Yes, sir.
What's easier for you?
I'm going to say handcuffs, but I cheated because I watched him walk.
Anything for you. So, Mr. Bookman,
Yes, sir.
so what, are we doing 30 days on the DWI?
Yes, sir.
With 4 days credit.
Congratulations. What number? 52, 48,
There we go.
37.
Okay. So, Mr. Bookman, you've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 30 days in jail on the DWI with credit for the 4 days that you've done. As part of this agreement, they're going to dismiss the theft case against you. Say it again? Yeah, you're right. Pleading, you pleading to the DWI.
He's got
They're going to
something.
revoke
Let
the-
me
or they're
tell
going
you,
to dismiss the theft
he's
case.
got something.
This DWI will go on your record. It's going to be there for the rest of your life. With your record, if you're in a car and you get pulled over and you smell like alcohol or dope, you think cops are going to be nice to you? Even if you don't have alcohol, if you don't have the smell of dope, when they look you up, do you think a cop's going to be nice to you? Right. So don't give them the ability to take you down. If you know you have something that you shouldn't have, if you know you're doing something you shouldn't do, don't get into a car, because guess what's going to happen? You will be right back here today. You'll be right back here. From now on, you will be facing a minimum of 90 days in jail.
Anybody know
Anything that
his
you pick
name?
up in here, you understand?
What's the attorney's name?
You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers, the right to be arraigned, charge directly with the court. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you accept this agreement, you can never change this or undo this. You understand? Now, it's alleged here that
You can
you
call
have
me
a
Mrs.
prior,
Bond from now on. Mrs.
possession
Bond.
of a controlled substance under the 337. Is this true or untrue? True to the enhancement. How do you plead to the DWI? Guilty or not guilty? We'll find you guilty, sentence you to 30 days in jail. I will give you credit for the 4 days that you've done. I'm going to suspend your license for, is this a first? It's a first, right? I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive until you get a license. Good luck to you, sir. Okay.
There's a girl? Where? I'm going to break the law, guys. I'm going to break the law.
Hey.
I'm approaching on Curtis Felix Gobert. We had reset him from last week for the PTI stuff. I did send him some stuff to try to get the interlock. Obviously, with the storm, he was not able to get it yet. So, he tried. I do know that.
So,
can you want to do a week or do you want 10 days?
Let's do
2 weeks. He's trying, Judge.
Come up, Mr. Gobert. Does he have an appointment to get one now?
Well, no, because they hadn't been answering. So I think there was difficulty. I got him the code and.
So let's set it off 2 weeks and hopefully.
Okay.
Have you tried calling to make an appointment?
Yes,
When's the
not
last
only me, my sister and my brother-in-law, they've been trying to help. There's nobody's answering.
So we'll set this off 2 weeks to try to give you enough time. I would probably, if you can't get through today, wait at least till like Monday, and then at Monday, try to start, because with all the stuff that's going on within the city right now, it's a futile attempt. So just wait till Monday and then hope that will be enough time because we still have, what, 1 million people without power?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you can get it,
CenterPoint Energy would here right now. I'd put them over my knees. Thank them.
that's absurd.
CenterPoint needs to be spanked. That's what needs to happen.
People need to,
Anyways, Mr. Gobert.
Yes.
Good luck, bud.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Try on Monday and then hope you have more luck. Okay. All right. 2 weeks.
we'll be privatized and it's a monopoly.
Something needs to happen different.
Thank you, Judge.
For sure. Thanks.
Good
Bye.
morning, Harold.
Hey, good morning.
How are you? Oh, not much, same old. I have a plea, Shantavia Peavy. We're ready.
Okay. Good morning, Ms. Peavy.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement where they're offering you 180 days in jail. It'll be probated for 15 months. As part of the probation, you will be required to do several things. You will do a repeat offender DWI education class, 2 victim impact panels, a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. You must fulfill all those conditions. Random urinalysis, substance abuse treatment as needed. No breath test refusal, meaning that if you are pulled over and an officer asks you to submit to a breath test, you must comply and take the breath test. Regarding Interlock, no drugs, no alcohol, and random urinalysis. The more important thing is, how old are you?
33.
33, you now have 2 DWIs on your record. 33. What happens on the next one?
Stay safe. Stay safe first. First, stay safe, then do your job. But stay safe. I don't like this, Jenna. Jenna, I'm not all for this. That sounds really scary.
How much time are you looking on the felony charge? Take a guess.
A year.
What is it?
A year.
A year? Try 10. All that needs to happen, you get pulled over, an officer, all they have to do is smell alcohol on your breath. They will take you down.
My
and allow
power
you
is
to face up to
underground.
10 years in prison for the mere smell in and of itself. For $10, you hit a button. It'll take you everywhere you want to go, anywhere in the city. 10, 15 bucks, don't matter where you want to go. How much money have you paid them? How much money have you spent on all the DWIs? 15 bucks, anywhere you want to go. Use it. Ms. Peavy, I'm now going to suspend your license for a year. Do not drive until you get a license. And I'm telling you, I don't care if you're 52, 75, the smell of alcohol alone, they're going to charge you with another offense. So I would never get in the car, even if you've had a sip of alcohol or a sip of wine. Do you understand? You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you accept this agreement, you will be stuck with this for the rest of your life. You can never change this or undo this. You understand? Yes or no? How do you plead to the offense, ma'am? I will find you guilty. I will follow the agreement.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you.
Guilty, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Claire, what's up, man?
Step all the way up.
Say that again?
He's back.
The bond conditions on the order, it says defendant is prohibited from the following.
On Williams?
On White. It's another different.
Oh, what's the last name on the other one?
White.
I'm looking at the wrong one.
Is that right? It's already the judge.
I only have one thing in ready to judge. Oh, now it just popped up.
That's so smart. So this is a little further along in the docket. I cut the middle part out because it was a 3-hour docket. So he has been in the jury box for a bit now. He's not quite as baked as he was when he first came in.
Okay, how's this? I put defendant must find full-time employment. Why are you trying to leave?
Sir, I was not trying to leave. I just needed to use the restroom, so I wanted to request and ask the officer. I didn't want to disturb you while you were in the middle of session.
Right, don't disturb me, and you just can't walk out. You have to ask for permission. When you walk out, we issue warrants. Do you understand?
I wasn't looking to walk out whatsoever.
Okay, so tell me, you said you own a business. What do you do exactly?
We help treatment centers, or we specialize in bringing in new patients into healthcare treatment centers, specifically alcohol and opioid addiction treatment centers.
That checks out.
You have a monthly income from this.
Yes, Your Honor.
How much money do you make a month?
Well, right now, the business is still in a growth stage, so we revenue, but I don't take personal income. I take a small amount of personal income, so you can say $2,000 to $3,000 per month as of current.
Where do you live?
At my parents' house.
Yet you drive a BMW.
Yes, Your Honor. The revenues of the business are over that amount.
Okay, so you need a lawyer to represent you in this.
Okay.
And it would behoove you to get one really, really quick, because one of the conditions on your other DWI is don't get in trouble and probably not to consume alcohol. Once this other jurisdiction learns of your new DWI, they'll probably going to issue another warrant for your arrest. So you need a lawyer to represent you, and quick. So we're going to let you go today. And I'm telling you, no alcohol.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have an interlock that you're going to, within 3 days, you must get an interlock on your car. If I find that you have not put an interlock on your car, I'm going to put you in jail. And I'm going to tell you, with 2 open DWIs, I usually put bonds at around $25,000 in that side. So beware, you're skirting extremely thin ice at this point. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor, I will contact the Interlock immediately. I have the information for it, but I don't know exactly the date that they'll be able to install it.
You must get it done within 3 days.
What if the company is not available to do it within those 3 days?
Well, then come back and let us know. Okay, but I'm not going to entertain any excuses. You also need a lawyer to represent you. So get on that as well. As soon as you leave here, start researching that as well. This can impact your license, so a lawyer can help you with that as well. No alcohol. Do you understand? Okay, all right. So if you want to go ahead and do the THA. All right,
So he's getting an interview. Jeremy White?
correct. 3 days.
Well, Judge, he has to go to 49 for instructions for the GPS
That's okay.
and redo it now.
That, please.
Monday at 10:30.
Okay.
I don't know if it's gonna be, so.
It's got to be a way, but he has 2 open DWIs.
I think it's a
You know, it's a.
Can you send me an
I don't even start to log in the interlock.
Okay, so we'll just have to see if you're waiting on one more document. You sit on the first one. That's great.
Hi, of course. Hi, Trinidad. I'm trying to be like you.
I'm trying to dig it, man.
Trying to be like you.
Trinidaddy! Trinidaddy's here.
Okay.
I get disappointed. He was on a deferred. It's been a while since the situation. We spoke about it. I spoke to the state. If we just unsat term, so we can just start moving.
I mean, can you give me the file, please, so we can check it out? Come up, Mr. Triplett. Client was placed on a 2-year deferred for unlawful carrying of a weapon, ordered to complete 100 hours of community service, effective decision-making class, and a gun safety course. Completed the TRAS. TRAS says that he needed supportive outpatient treatment and a parenting class. Judge advised if client tested positive, he would be attending Young Men About Change. Young Men About Change. When is the last time he's done a TRAS?
It was March 24th.
Of, okay, I want to schedule another one. Mr. Triplett, I'm going to keep you so close to me, you're going to think that we're in a relationship. There's no way you're going to skirt out of this thing without thinking that you're going to do anything. You've completely blown us off, and you think that you're not going to get out of this without anything?
Sort of sounds like a normal relationship type thing to me. You just get out of doing anything. That sounds about right, Judge.
You're mistaken. I don't care who you got here with you. I'm sending you for a TRAS now, and I'm telling you, the next time you toy with us and don't do what you're supposed to do, I'm going to put you in a boot camp. Do you understand? It's a 9-month stretch that you will be doing in a boot camp, and I'm tired of these games. I'm going to test you in 30 days from today. You test positive for dope, guess what's going to happen? Right.
The earliest TRAS I have is on the 16th.
Set it. Okay.
Extended, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to extend it a year.
I'll stay on it, and then
Stay on it.
Yeah, I'll stay on it as well.
Try to whip them into shape. Do whatever you can, because if you can't do it, I'm going to do it for you. And I'm telling you, you're not going to like the way I do it, Mr. Triplett. I'm going to keep you so close. You're going to be coming here every week to test with me, so I know that you're not using. Especially if you got 3 young kids running around. No more. Okay, what's today? Today's the 11th, so we can do it 6 days. So let's set a date
30
now,
days.
For the effective decision-making class. Okay, so we'll do it in baby steps so that we know it gets done. When is the soonest that you can have the effective decision-making class?
That's the one that I had started.
I don't know. What did you start?
I think I did start. That's the one where it was a teacher inside of the CSCD building. I did it on the inside.
Completed the effective decision making on March 6th.
You did do that one?
We're moving in the right direction.
See, what has he not done?
Because he absconded, it looks like they removed him from the SOP class. It doesn't look like he started any parenting program or the gun safety course, and none of his community service has been completed.
Okay, I'm not really concerned about the community service. My more concern are the parenting class.
Experience, education.
And then the educational aspect of it. So that's what we do. And the fact, are you working now?
Yes, sir. I'm still.
What do you do?
I could.
Okay, are you still at the same place that you've been the whole time? Good.
I'm on the job now about 5 years. Same
Okay,
thing.
great. That shows stability. That's fantastic. Just keep up the good work.
There you go, positive.
Don't
Yeah.
test positive,
Yes, sir.
especially if you got young kids around. So let's start working on on the parenting class and then the other one, the SOP. So let's do that. I'm giving you 2 weeks. You must sign up for the supportive outpatient treatment within the next 2 weeks. When you come back here, I want to see that you've done that. And I'm telling you, you will be tested 30 days from today's date, because I want to give you enough time that there's no more weed in your system. If you stop today and don't smoke as of today, 31 days from today, you will have a clean test.
Oh, no, that's right, that's right.
If you don't,
I do make you proud.
you know what's going to happen, Mr. Triplett. You understand? All right, go ahead, take a seat.
Is getting remanded positions?
Yeah, with Tori.
Can I get a dismissal file for the MA?
Whew, we did it. I know it was a little long today, but I needed every second of that dumpster fire of a case. I couldn't cut any of it out, except for when people were calling me. I had to cut that out. So, Melissa, all right, so you can hear some Discord beeps in Judge Fleischer's because so I was recording on my phone that dumpster fire, and I was recording Fleischer, and then all of a sudden, halfway through the stream, Melissa types in chat, and she's like, "Kathy, get into Discord and defend me." Now, I thought she was talking about pineapple on pizza because at that moment, I think she asked the judge. She's like, "They want to know how you feel about pineapple on pizza," and the judge says, "You know, there's nothing wrong with that." He said it's fine. He didn't say that he loves it. He didn't say, "Oh man, give me a Hawaiian pizza." He just said, "I don't think I see anything wrong with that." And then they started talking about ketchup on popcorn, which is blah, blah, blah. So I hop into Discord because I'm recording, so I can't have Discord open because it's always ding, 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 ding. So I hop into Discord and I say, "Melissa, you were right. The judge just confirmed it." And then I think like lower down, I say pineapple is fine on pizza, but it doesn't matter because it was way lower down. And I leave Discord. Now I'm not 100% sure, but I think the question that was being asked was who would win in a fight between Melissa and Victoria? I hopped in Discord and I'm like, Melissa, you're right. And then I shut Discord down. But that's why you hear the Discord bings because I couldn't get to it on my phone because I was recording that dumpster fire and I couldn't I mean I had to open it on my computer, but I was recording. Yeah. Oh, if you're here for videos, it's over. Bye. Thank you for coming. If you didn't see the beginning, you should at least fast forward it to where the judge talks. Ooh, he's so good. He's so good, guys. Neither Victoria and Melissa would never get into a fight. And Vibers, we sent them 4 more bags of sweet tarts. They're not there yet. They'll be there between the 16th and the 18th. But thank you very much for enabling me to send the judge 4 more bags of sweet tarts. Yeah, that lawyer. Whew. I'm gonna have to rewind it and see if I thought it was what I saw what it was. And then I'll have to keep rewinding it until I can speak right while I'm thinking about rewinding it. So I don't know where Pavel was today, and neither does the judge. All I heard was, "Where's Pavel? Is he answering his emails?" And that was the last I heard. So hopefully he's feeling better. Who knows? Logan looked like he was feeling better. But he wasn't up a lot. Like he came up every once in a while. But yesterday he was up a lot, so we had time to see him coughing and sneezing and whatnot. Melissa or Victoria, I think it was, I don't remember who it was now, told Logan how much we love his kitty, how much we love Lucifer. No, it wasn't. It just wasn't. Don't make me rewind it. I promise you. All we need to do is buy that man a pair of gray sweatpants. Terry, yes, Terry, I hope you have a lovely anniversary dinner. Thank you, Casey, Carrie. Thank you. Now I'm wondering if I should put now I'm wondering if I should put the guy whose weed made him sue an entire city just in the members only area because the trial's not till November, right? This was just one of the hearings where where his lawyer withdraws. So I don't know. She keeps asking. Everybody keeps asking, how did you do that? What does that mean? What is this? I don't know what this is. How did you do what you just did? Is that a super sticker or a super chat? Or what is it? Hi, Linda. I'm waiting for Fozzie to answer me because I have no idea what this is. I mean, OF legal? What's Lisa Purr's OF? I know he's a Manx, Manx. Found that out today. Oh, if you didn't see the trial earlier, Victoria, you missed you missed a good one. You could just fast forward it to the judge. It's all crazy though. But someone when you qualify, it shows up under the plus by the chat. When you qualify, you get a free message each member month milestone. That's crazy. Thanks, Linda. Linda, did you know you get a free message each member month milestone? Did you know that? I did not know that. Victoria's not going to mention anything to the judge. Don't you worry. She won't. Only pause. All right, it shows up under the. I don't think I'm a member. So, super stickers. No, I'm not a member. I can't stand her. She's really annoying, so I'm not buying a membership. Yeah, Linda knew it. I bet she did. Melissa is still single. Oh, Fozzie, that reminds me. I have to talk to you. It's all good. It's funny. Okay. I'm going to Discord. Guys, new members, congratulations. I'm going to put this video on the members only area today for you guys so you guys can see the train wreck that we have coming in November. I think I did, Jay. I must have because I got a whole bunch of memberships. Yeah, that's fine. Snitches get stitches. Let's go back to sleep. Oh, Sarah, I sent the picture of the shirt, of the postage in Discord. Finally. Freaking finally. That was so stressful, but it's perfect, I think. And it's coming to you. I think you can track it by there. 1v1 me, Linus. Let's go. Gee. um, Monica and Monica. I think both of you ordered a shirt, but I don't have your address, and I don't have the size, and I don't have the color. If you could just Discord me your address, the size, and the color, please. Buy simple. I got a AC, American Courts, and I think Fozzie, but I don't know. I feel Fozzie's hand in this somehow. Have a new clothing article of clothing that I'm gonna start providing. Um, but instead of the shirt fiasco that I just went through, I'm not putting them up until they are 100. I have like 100 of them already ready on the shelf because the shirts were crazy stressful for me. So I'm not, but it's awesome. Everybody's gonna want one. It's awesome. All right, guys. Oh, Rebecca, I could do hoodies, but they're so freaking expensive. I mean, it would make me sick to my stomach charging the prices that I would have to charge for a hoodie. Ah, I mean, they're just so freaking expensive. It's stupid. It's just stupid. It's just a piece of cloth. Fine. Hoodies. Fine. I'll offer hoodies, but I'm telling you better open your wallet because they're expensive for me. I'm not making money on it. I'm just saying they are expensive for me. Koozies. Those are cheap. See? Fozzie knows those are cheap. Beer bottle koozies, though. He was specific. Tracksuits. Okay. Tracksuits. Bandanas. Pet bandanas, actually. No, the thing I'm gonna do next is underwear. Oh yeah, the stubby holder. I mean, that we wouldn't be able to use it with that Lloyd. I think we might need the can koozie. But that's right. Oh, you see, I was just talking about you and your idea with Fozzie. Maybe, maybe he needs a little holder. Yeah. Well, if a man needs a bra, they don't really do sports. Assume. I just assume they don't really do a lot of sporting, right? Like what? Like a holster. You have root beer, Jasmine. It would be on the back. It would be across the back of the underwear. Not really on the front. It would be on the back. Maybe. No, 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 no. Free Willy. But it's true. Yep. Yep. Well, it's very impressive, Donald. What can I say? Nope. Nope, never mind. All right. I'm going in Discord. If anybody wants to go in Discord, I'll be there. If you don't, you do not have to. You do not have to. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really, really appreciate it. I hope the videos were good. I'll have another video out at noon in the members only area. It won't stay in the members only area because they're going to need that info before they get the trial in November if I'm so lucky as to get the trial in November. which has been going on for 6 years. He's suing an entire city over weed. Yeah. So thanks for popping out, and I'll see you in Discord. Bye, guys. Bye. Thanks. And thanks to my mods. You guys do a great, great, great job as always. Thank you.